Tonight, a major controversy underway as the president says $2,000 stimulus check or else. And the Democrats come back and say, we always were going to give you a $2,000 stimulus check. Really? No, you weren't. You didn't want to even give us a stimulus check at all when you backed the prom creators bill that had 0 stimulus checks in there. Now everyone's saying they wanted to always give you stimulus checks, and they're fighting to go to the line to get the stimulus checks out. But the nuances of everything from McConnell to McCarthy to Ron Johnson is making this very confusing as to whether you'll get from here to there on the stimulus checks. Millions of viewers are getting confused as well, as FPUC, UI, PUA all will expire by this Sunday. So are you getting anything after that? Meantime, leading Republicans and leading Democrats are on news saying, you know what, you would have had a stimulus check next week, but now you aren't. No, you would not have a stimulus check next week. There's so much fake narratives out there that it's hard for me to even keep track with the fake narratives to give you the correct narrative. Look, we can get through this together. You're going to get a stimulus check. All this is very confusing, but I have it all figured out for you on a great night of Evenings LALATE. Hey, good afternoon, everybody, or actually good evening. How are you? It's on the West Coast shortly after about 6 o'clock, and I'm so glad you joined me on a big night of Evenings LALATE. If you've not subscribed, please do. No one's fighting to get you this money around the clock, 7 days a week. I'll be recording tomorrow on the day after. I'm going taped, I'm going live, and there's developments around the clock. The next few days will be high dramatics. There's actually no single path to getting the stimulus check that is the same as a different one. A lot of different twists and turns will manifest themselves over the next few days as congressional leaders now reveal in this path to get you the stimulus check. So please subscribe. Also, like this video. In this video, I'll be going over what happened with Kevin McCarthy, what happened with the Republicans, what happened with the Democrats, what happened with Mitch, what happened with Trump, and what happened with Pelosi and Schumer tonight. There's so much developing across the board, it's almost hard to keep a path lined up. But I'm here to make it simple and easy breezy for you to get from point A to point B. And with that, let's get to the breaking news. The breaking news as you sit here tonight is that $2,000 as a stimulus check is now a mainstream idea. It's sort of hard to believe it. You know, when this channel launched on April 25th, I was not doing stimulus, but I was doing it by July. And in July, I was getting a lot of backlash from people saying, $2,000 is too much money for a stimulus check. It was just 2 weeks ago that we were told, you shouldn't get a stimulus check. This is not the time for you to have a stimulus check. Now everyone is saying they were going to give you a $2,000 stimulus check all along. Oh, really? So where are we exactly right tonight? Let me tell you procedurally where we are tonight. There is a bill. The bill was passed by the House and the Senate. The bill is on the president's table. He has not vetoed it still. He likely will not veto it, and he's not there. He's in Florida. He has now pardoned a series of convicted felons, and he is not talking about stimulus tonight at all. So where is that bill? That bill is sitting on his table and is not yet been vetoed and may not be vetoed by him. Ironically, if he did veto it, the veto would be overridden because the bill was passed by enough votes in the House and enough votes in the Senate to override a veto. To override a veto means that the Senate and House reconvenes to vote again and override the veto, making it law. But at this point, no one wants to be associated with a $600 stimulus check. Sound a little bit ironic? It is. Just a few days ago, they were happy to give you nothing. Even Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer backed the Bob Creators bill. 0 stimulus check. We can't give you a stimulus check now. There's no time for it. Then they were happy to back a $600 stimulus check. AOC suddenly is now the poster child of the $2,000 stimulus check. 2 days ago, she wouldn't even say a single word about how bad a $600 stimulus check was. In fact, the only people that would say how bad the stimulus check of $600 was you, America, Bernie Sanders, and Josh Hawley. Everyone else had kept their mouths shut. Tonight, everyone's saying, I never wanted to give you $600. I wanted to give you $2,000, but someone else wouldn't let me to. Okay. Yeah, I'm not believing that story. Yawn. Put me to sleep and wake me up when that fake fairy tale's over. That's not true. And that's the problem with the situation. The other problem with the situation is one top Democrat who's already amended the bill for Nancy appeared on broadcast news and said, you know what? I was telling my constituents you were going to get a stimulus check next week, and now that's not happening. Also untrue. You are not going to get a stimulus check physically in your hands next week, despite anything that was going on with these people. I had been telling you for over 4 or 5 days it was coming the first week of January, because it takes 10 days from when it becomes law to physically get the stimulus check. And can you imagine a congressional leader telling people they're going to get a stimulus check about 3 days after it becomes law? Who do you work for? You work for us? I don't know. Maybe... Maybe some courier service that, drives it really fast across the country. Not happening. Okay? Then the other narrative that's coming out tonight is that millions of Americans are going to lose their unemployment benefits starting this weekend because this has not been passed. No, that's also a fake narrative as well. Let me explain what's going on. The week of PUA and UI benefits ends this, PEUC benefits and PUA benefits ends this weekend. The two instruments were created by the CARES Act 1 in March, ends December 27th, this weekend. So when you go to certify for benefits this weekend, that will be the last check you will have under the CARES Act 1. Is there supposed to be a check the week after? Well, even if Congress had passed this and the president had signed it this week, you would not have seen the check ending the first week of January in your pocket, in your hands, in the first weeks of January. Why? Because the states have already warned Congress their computer systems are too backlogged and too antiquated, Windows 95, that they would never be able to receive the money from Congress, convert their computer systems to now reactivate accounts, and then send the money out in all of less than a week. It will not happen. So UI and PUA benefits that you were supposed to receive in your hands were already going to be delayed to at least the middle of January, if not February, before the delay from the president. So again, the narrative that what the president has done has now caused your unemployment and UI benefits to get delayed. No, they're already delayed. And let's also add on top of it, FPUC, which expired in July, Congress had no less than 6 months, half of this year, to extend FPUC when it expired July. They didn't get it done. So as you sit here tonight, what's the great news? The great news is that $2,000 stimulus check is mainstream. Everyone wants to support it. Everyone's talking in favor of it. Wow. 2 days ago, it was the scarlet letter. Now everyone's embracing it like, it's the new, Bieber song. It's just like, wait a second. It went from something people really dislike to something everyone really likes. Now, not you. I'm referring to congressional leaders. Then there's a confusion about Mitch. There's a confusion about Nancy. And there's a confusion about Donald. There's a complete political positioning at play between Donald, Mitch, Nancy, and the Senate GOP that is very complicated. And it's too hard to really predict the path. I got to tell you. Why? Because Nancy Pelosi was predicting a path earlier today, which she announced tomorrow, that she's calling for a vote on the amendment. Okay, first, before I continue, what is she calling for a vote on? She's calling for a vote on the amendment that only makes the one of 4 items amended. That's a stimulus check. She's leaving in there the $9 billion for foreign governments, which Twitter doesn't like, I don't like, no one likes. The president said, take it out or I'm going to veto it. Well, he didn't say veto. Take it out or I'm not going to sign it. And then she also leaves in the other provisions, which she talked about, like the Kennedy Center and all those buildings, the Smithsonian Institute. He said, take those out. Is she taking them out? No. Why is she doing this? I don't know. So she said, I'm going to call it for a vote to get a unanimous vote, and a unanimous vote will force Mitch to work on it. When I first heard that, I'm like, who's going to give you the unanimous vote, Nancy? You have not had a unanimous vote on anything for a very long time. And it's included even your party, who has voted against stuff during this period in which I'm dropping stuff on set. So needless to say, Kevin McCarthy cut us to the chase. He cut to the chase the House Minority Leader, Republican, said, I'm going to vote against it. Thank you. And so with that, there will not be an unanimous vote tomorrow. So what then will happen next? Really unclear. The bill will pass the House, it will go to the Senate, and at that point, I have no idea. Mitch McConnell has been simply silent for a series of reasons. This is not helping Mitch McConnell. It's not helping the GOP. It's not helping the Senate races in Georgia. And all it's doing is really showing that Trump wants to throw the Senate GOP under the bus. The Senate GOP is being thrown under the bus by President Trump in big maneuvering, because ultimately the Senate GOP will really eat itself alive. You're going to have some Senate GOP leaders who say, okay, let's support the prior bill. You're going to have some that says, I'm not supporting the amendment, but I do support the prior bill. And then you're going to have some Senate GOP who says, I don't support anything that's involved here. And suddenly you're going to have Mitch have to choose about which one of the group that he wants to support. Mitch McConnell understands that stimulus check is needed to win the 2 Georgia Senate seats. He's going to lose the 2 Georgia Senate seats if he doesn't send out a stimulus check. But the president doesn't want to send out a stimulus check that's too small, and Mitch may not get the support of the Senate to send out the stimulus check that the president wants. Is the president setting up Mitch to intentionally fail? There was a reason why there was a hit show on this channel throughout most of the summer called McConnell versus Trump, because they often conflicted heads. Nancy Pelosi's narrative that the president never said what he wanted, untrue, that the president never wanted 2000, untrue. But what Nancy Pelosi is doing very well is she's setting up the Republicans to look like a hot mess express in the Senate, as if they don't already do it to themselves. So are you going to get the $2,000 stimulus check? When are you going to get the $2,000 stimulus check? What is happening to all these UI, PUA, and FPUC instruments? Let me explain what's going on. Your UI and PUA, if you've been unemployed since February or March or April, will expire this weekend if they have not already. Please continue to certify for benefits on a weekly basis. Then, at some point, all this mess will get resolved and you'll be reactivated on your account. But that first week that you're able to certify for the first week of January, don't expect to receive payment for unemployment the first week of January for a while, several weeks to over a month. The inability to receive the benefits during that first week of January will be a big issue for viewers, because that's the same time that you're expecting to receive the $2,000 stimulus check or $600 stimulus check, and that may not be able to get there now in the first week of January as well. It takes about 10 days after it becomes law for you to physically receive a stimulus check if you're set up for electronic receipt. And if you count out 10 days, 10 days from the 20th is the 31st. 10 days from the 27th is the 7th of January. Suddenly, approximately the 7th of January, suddenly these days are going further and further forward. One viewer on Purple Power on Being a Mitch said to me, when is the PUA going to start paying the $300? That is not going to be paying that $300 for at least a month, if not 2 months. The first thing that you're going to get paid on is the stimulus check, and then the UI and the PUA. But the stimulus check is going to get delayed by all this. And where is the path to get it? It's still unclear. You're going to see a lot of dramatics over the next 24 or 48 hours. And I would presume within about 48 hours from now, we may see the path procedurally to get this check and bill moving forward. Do not believe what Nancy Pelosi is telling you. She's making it sound as though I'm ready to go, we're going to go forward, and we're all done. No, it's not that easy. It's not that easy, because you're not going to get people to actually do what they say they're going to do. And then there's the obvious question that viewers ask me. Are they even in town? Are they even in town? Are they here? Many of them are not even in town. And so a lot of that causes things more confusing. The good news, strangely, among all this stuff, was the veto by the president earlier today of the spending bill for the military. That veto has aligned both Republicans and Democrats, because it was a bipartisan bill that the GOP and the Senate really wanted. Now the president has vetoed his own GOP Senate for a military bill. That may set up a camaraderie and a bipartisan, bicameral effort to get this done at the same time they get the federal military bill done. Finally, the most important, the strangest thing that I keep on getting asked questions about, is the federal government shut down? I don't know. Not really clear. It seems like it will be shut down already. Remember, they only did a spending gap for 2 days. That 2 days is expired. So is it extended? I don't know. It's not really clear. The news reports are not making clear as well as either. What I want you to understand is that your Social Security or railroad benefits or veterans benefits or SSI or SSDI checks are not endangered at all for being delayed if there is a shutdown. Coming up next, Purple Power Live, and then join me on Early Mornings LA next morning at 6 a.m. As always, stay informed, stay smiling, and stay LA for more.